Hello, today we are going to talking about the experimental, and this is a lecture that is a process that you need to go through. I will be talking how the experimental is really important for you to come up with the product and the idea. So the experimental that we're talking, what is definition of the experiment? Experiment is a procedure carried out to support, refute, or validate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is something called the assumption. And experimental provide insight into the cause and the effect by demonstrating what outcome occur when a particular factor is manipulated. For example, you put the something to test it out, and you say that if you do like this, what will happen next? And this one you can see the image of the basketball, and then you may make a newspaper to handle the weight of the basketball and to check that it's working or not. If it doesn't work, you may change or manipulate the condition of testing. So this is a framework, a really simple one, just starting from your assumption, and then you build it, and you make a product, measure how its effectiveness, and you collect the data, and then you improve the process or the learning process of the experiment, and if it's okay, you can get the outcome, but it doesn't okay, you may change the assumption. At the beginning, you might need to ask yourself, for example, what are the assumptions about your design? And for example, can the medicine box strengthen the plastic? Or you can ask, can the medicine box wrapping like a basket? Or can the medicine box texture colorful? Maybe you use a different kind of texture. So this is called the assumption. You need to build your own assumption based on the thing or for example, the product that you have in hand, or material that you have in hand. And the second one, and in this one you can see that we see that you can ask the assumption like, can the medicine box transcend the plastic? So you build a box, maybe a structure that's really strong by rolling it out, or can the machine box wrapping like the basket? And so this one you wrapping like a square, and can the machine box texture colorful? In this one you may painting or do some furnishing process on the medicine box. The next one, after you have the assumption, so you try to build out it by using a process called A/B testing. A and B testing is that we create a validation by using A. A is something that you control. For example, talking about the newspaper as a control, and you want to know that you want to use the newspaper that you create or restructure or redesign as a variation. So you want to compare between the original one is A control and the B one variation that after you processing the newspaper, the stain is okay or not. If it's not okay, so it's a comparison between A and B. And this is another example. For example, can the medicine box strengthen than plastic? You can do a lot of things like fabrication and waving. By fabrication, you put the old chair, and then you put a newspaper wrapping around, or for the waving, you put the newspaper and making it and glue it like a bow. Lip structure, you have put the structure inside, so it make it strengthen or compress, or a lot of method like reinforce. So in this one, you building some variation of it. So it's called variation. That's different from the control one. The building thing, that you need to know how tool and the material For example, you have a plastic bag and you want to make it a new material, a new kind of material. So you use an iron to iron it. That's called tool. And how do you do that? This is called know-how. How do you know that where is know-how is? First, you can create by yourself. Second, you can searching on the internet or in some kind of the literature, like in Make or in Searchable.com, in YouTube. They show the process of doing it. So when you build, you need to have three components: know-how, tool, and material that you use. The tool in here, you're talking about iron as a tool. Material, you're talking about the one that, for example, the plastic or the paper that you use. And know-how is a method how to do that. Next one is about the product, and you continue to imagine what the product it should be. And this one is called you can say that it's like the application that you can think out. For example, the plastic bag can be used as a display or the wallet. As this of those examples after you produce some kind of a new material. And the next one, you have a product, and now how do you know that your product is answer that question? That's called the measurement. So you measure, for example, you would like to measure the strength, like you redesign a new material. So the way you do, you use maybe using the tensile testing. As you can see that the picture below is a machine that you can pressing and measure the strength of the material. Like you doing like a cardboard in version 1 and as a bowl in version 2. You collect the data. It's called measurement, and you measure that. When you use a control and variation, for example, this one you may measure the strength of those. Which one is better? The variation one should be better, right? As you design a new one. So this is one example. After you measure, you know how well you do the experiment. You can measure. It's not need to be informed in terms of the physical property, but you can measure in terms of the beauty, the aesthetic as well. Oh, it's beauty better. The texture is better than the previous one. This is called the measurement. After you do that, after you make, you can see that in this graph, the process they have the think, and then you make. And then make, and then you make again, and you fix and make and make. So in this one, after you do that, your work, and you test, experiment, make it, and test, make it and test and measure, test, measure. They may have some problem on that, and you improve it. So there's a continuous improvement process. So in this one, we can see that if it makes it better, maybe you use the time to measure that. Oh, if I do it for around 2 weeks, and within 2 weeks, and it's okay, yes, it's done. But if it doesn't work out like that way, you may need to reconsider that. Oh, the material that you test or the thing that you test, it doesn't work. So you maybe change the assumption. So you should limit the time on the like it's less than 2 weeks, or it could be less than 3 mock-up, something like that, to help you guiding that, okay, how long that you're going to continue. If it doesn't work, don't try to push it too hard. You can change assumption as well. Not need to continue as in the same old path. You need to have the tactic or the strategy to solve that kind of problem. And like I say that in here, you can see that let me erase the one. These are a lot of widgets. Sometimes you can see the graph is below like that, and then you maybe doesn't quite sure that it's working out or not. Instead of going to like this way. So that's why I say that you need to recheck and check your experiment all the time. And say that, oh, it's work or it doesn't work. And don't go to continue doing, repeating everything without any improvement. So it means that you didn't learn anything because you want to improve the product. The next one, in this one, they say that make check thing. And I think in summary, I told you the whole process. We give you some form that you can see in this one, and let me show you and zoom in out. So at the here, so you take a look at what is the assumption. What is assumption? This is describe assumption on your design. What is assumption? What you want to test, and A/B testing. What is the control group and what is the variable it is, like say that the original material or the new design, the process that you refurbish or restructure the product. And the third one, building. We're talking about know-how, the tool and the material that you use, and the product. What it could be the application of new kind of material that you experiment. And then after that, you coming to measure what do you want to measure and what is variable. For example, you want to measure in terms of the strength, or you want to measure in terms of the aesthetic. And the last one, after you measure, you finally you see your learning curve. Is your experiment is okay or not? So in this one, the last one, I put the plot, the graph that you need to plot, and they have the experimental make change, experimental make change. So I have the 2OT process. What you want to experiment, what you want to make, and what you want to change. Like you change this to improve the product. And you maybe try to experiment the second one, and make and change the third one, make and change. So this is a framework that you can go with your team and can continue create and to check your learning curve. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoy.